Good evening, everyone. It's good to see y'all. There are a lot of things in my mind. At the end of the day, I'm a black girl from making work. So, you family in here with me, and I'm happy to see everyone. Thank you for coming on a weekday and fighting traffic and whatever you have to navigate today. Just know we're valued and appreciated. We're excited about having this conversation. So, thank you for your presence. Just a few things before we jump in. If you would like to partake in food, please feel free to go and the water. There are water here. You did not get that. You're going to get a program for it.
I can't hear you. So hold up.
Okay.
Let's. I can hear.
I'm working on that.
It's low. Testing. But is that coming through the mic or is it?
We can hear you.
It's better.
I was supportive.
Yeah. Just her voice. Testing. Is that better? Can you hear me in the back? Through the microphone? Can you hear? Hi. Hello again. Good evening. So before we begin, a few things I was sharing. Please continue to food. There's plenty of water. Community conversation. Really want everyone to be comfortable, especially at the dinner hour. So feel free to continue to chat with refreshment. Also, there are programs. So if you would like the program for what's happening with the community, it has the law providers for all our. We will honor your time. My intention is to get you out of here at 8 o'clock. So we will move pretty efficiently. And the other topic thing I just want to emphasize is the point of this conversation is to help us all feel connected within and across our religious tradition. So please be honorable, please be respectful. Just in how we engage, we certainly invite you to contribute, but make sure in the way that we're talking about differences or asking questions about things that we desire more information, that we are being intentional about using respectful language, or asking what might be more things that we are unfamiliar with. Sure.
One second. A few more people. Let me say, well, while our last few visitors drifted in, I want to bring welcome from the Arts Exchange itself, from our community here. We are a 40-year-old organization that was created to have a space for artists and communities to come together. We moved to this space in 2018, and we were able to purchase it and build it out And today we're celebrating, or this year, not this year, we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary. So I'm Cheryl Johnson, and I am the president of the board of and I have another board member, Joyce Shepherd, who was a former councilwoman, and there's another board member who comes in, that's he, who actually is an artist resident here at one of our studio spaces. We have 14 working studios where artists are creating every day. We have over the theater space, which we do everything in, from plays to film to gatherings such as this. We have the Yvonne Dooley breakout room where you can have also meetings, parties, facilitate all kinds of things. The library, we have a very active literary program here, and we have an urban garden in the back. And you are more than welcome to come at 9 o'clock to one of our gardens for the spring visit. So we do a lot of things in this space, but mostly we try to bring the community together, in creative ways, and so that we can look at our world from different perspectives. So sometimes it's about health and wealth, sometimes we're hosting a political forum, sometimes it's entrepreneurship, something. How do you see your world? We want to be part of it. So come and join us. We really are just really happy with the way the organization is moving forward. We just know in 2024, just look out for it. Come be part of it. Make sure you have emails, so you get on our newsletter, and really think about something different, because this is a self-sustaining organization. We have membership, and we take all types of donations. Nothing is too small or too large. I want to introduce you also to our newest member of our family. She's over there in the corner. Sheena Eater, she just came on as our program manager last week. So she is just getting up and going, but she is bringing a whole new set of skills that we are happy to have. And so, and of course, you've met John, where did you go before? John Washington, who coordinated this program. We have many hats here. But if you ever think about you want to use this space in some type of creative way, this is the man to reach out to. So I'm going to sit down now, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. Thank you.
I just want to say, come back and offer keep your gallons next door. In preview, some people will bring it up with the
So yes, this conversation is connected to the opening of the exhibit. We encourage everyone to come back on Saturday for the Arts Talk at 6 p.m. here at the Art Exchange. And there are some initial pieces of the exhibit out now for your viewing. There are some ideas from the board.
May we all bow our heads in prayer. The God whom we call by many names, we ask that you open our hearts and our minds, that we may receive whatever message and knowledge that we are needed to obtain here today. We ask that our words be sweet and our hearts be open. In the name that we call you, amen and ashe.
So good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. So welcome to the This is an interfaith conversation that we are having this evening. I'm really excited to get started. We have several panelists here that all represent different faith traditions. So we want to hear from them about their faith traditions, how they help us to be connected to the origins of our ancestors, and as well as how those of us living and practicing in these Black spiritual lineages can be more connected to one another across our traditions. So thank you all for your time this evening. I'm going to offer a brief, abbreviated introduction for each panelist here. To my immediate left is Antoinette Broadway. She's a teacher of anthropology and critical thinking at Atlanta Metropolitan State College. Research focuses on African American liberation spaces, African religion, female society, and Afrofuturism. As an anthropologist, she has established African American schools, foundations, scholarship programs, and organizations based on traditional African culture. Welcome. To the left of her, we have Dr. Shantae Richardson, who is an educational psychologist and growth facilitator skilled in intentional teaching, culturally sustaining practices, optimal developmental appropriate practices, nonprofit organizations, self-care, team building, public speaking, and performing arts. She is a strong community and social services professional, graduated from Long Beach Georgia High School as well as the University of California. Dr. Richardson currently serves as an assistant professor at the Development.
The house.
We are home today, right? Is originally from Chicago, Illinois, and is overall academia in Atlanta. Here, was dedicated to the preservation and practice of traditions throughout the diaspora. Dr. Lade is a revolutionary, a father, a son, a husband, a brother, and a babalawo. He served as a leader and a mentor in a non-state and youth rights activist program here in Atlanta. Welcome to Dr. Lade. The man. Imam Nadim Saludman Ali has been the Imam of the community of Madrid of Atlanta since 2005 and is the former convener for the Metro Atlanta Masjid Ashura. Am I saying that right? Masjid. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ashura. Thank you. He is originally from Chester, Pennsylvania, and has resided in Atlanta, Georgia since 1979. First Islam in 1978 in Philadelphia. He is also the co-founder of the spoken word acapella Dawah in the ensemble, and regularly performs songs from an Islamic perspective. He has a bachelor's degree in communication from Shippensburg State University and a master's degree in counseling psychology from the Georgia School of Professional Psychology. He is a licensed professional counselor and a master of addiction counseling. Also, he uses alternative methods such as tapping, the ancient Chinese slow motion exercise, as an intervention for the treatment of addiction, stress, and anger management. Welcome, everyone. And to my first left, we have Reverend Leopold Smith. Reverend Smith is an emeritus scholar in the religion department at Emory University and an Episcopal priest at the Cathedral of St. Philip in Atlanta. His academic specialties include philosophy of religion, African American religious studies, liberation theology, religion, violence studies, and Afrofuturism. specializes in diversity training on race matters, conflict resolution, and community building. His faith-based and interfaith expertise extends the legacy of the celebrated musical theologian Howard Thurman via a private consulting reconciliation initiative incorporated. Dr. Lee is an experienced peer counselor in the International Reevaluation Counseling community. Welcome. So wonderful. We are going to pass the microphone because we have another part.
We have that wired one right there.
Okay.
You want to use it?
You do
That
have
one.
So I'm going to start by opening up to asking if you all can share for guides and principles of their traditions, introduce us to their traditions, and kind of give us a, you know, you all are chief practitioners, but a high level idea of what we could learn from the Vodoun, Christianity, or
one of the things that I would like to say about the how many of you all know the meaning of the evidence? So, yeah. The thing that is unique about the evidence and the way that the story goes is that they were and are a marketplace. They started out as the expansion of New York, and then they were, you know, coupled with that. So when you look at the Evan tradition, you see elements of both the time and Europe. And what I mean when I say that is the Evan tradition, they have the schools and the roads like you would find. But the way that the universe is ordered is much like yours. So in terms of our, their civilization. So you all have, y'all have, I say, we have, so we have. One of the things that I think is really unique about the Evan is that it is an ancestral. And it's different from other traditions that you might find in Africa, meaning that if you go to someone who is a reputable Evan, it's not like you can go and say, I want to do this. You can't do that. They have to do a special divination to see if your ancestor and your lineage. So when I first went to see the spiritual healer, I went and then, I went in and I saw this plate and had all these baby blood. And so she does a special divination with the egg, depending on how it's what it does, and what happens when you crack it open, as well as other things, for you to tell here. That divine, if you are, if that's the part of it. It tells you who you are, what you do. For example, in my tradition, I am we see Hunan on the God. So that means that not only am I responsible for all of the voodoo or the spirits that can come and speak through me, but I also have the additional power of balancing out our lives, right? Because we have all in our well. But the Babalas are primarily men, and the Amadasi are women. And so the Amadasi out without the Babalas, because the Amadasi is. So to get back to your question, one of the things that we can learn from the evidence is not only the importance of your ancestral with how informed you are today and how informed your family, but it also talks about values to the actual component of the religion. Because I think that one of the reasons why we are out of balance because at some point our traditions became involved because we didn't have those. So I had my own guy and a Baba, then both of those three. Then that, and we don't call it Baba, right? So I had an open and on guy that you can go to. Go.
Everyone, and it is in a regular, I don't like usually using my time from the job I want to do. But yes, my name is Shade, and interesting enough, I am. So I so when I'm here, there's going to be a time. So, if I go down, what African, my home is, probably, it was in my area, that's my area, to my food. I met him when I was in undergrad, 1920. And that's when I first started learning. And actually, my position was going to God, I guess, that's what we could about anything then later on, when I traveled the first time in 2000, actually, the association about that that is when I went to and so it's going I see a lot of different things. I see a lot of similarities. I see a lot of overlap. And because of what I do, my students before they go to practice and usually hard. So the part of practice I have is time, going to my going to so that I can lead conversations discussions with people who need to not to again have a conversation. It's something that I learned in my position. You have or you have another thing. All learn to they turn to be a so I go to a day and go to a ceremony and here because they create a group person, right? But it's not the tradition. We have a home where the whole person is to bring spirit. And for spirit to come, but it's because of the right? And so the spirit will come to spend to be trained to hold them in their body. And if you go on something that's a concrete and then you are talking to people, so you're not talking to people. And both of them, some people understand the equivalent to emotion. So you have the most high anomaly when you're component, you have the most spiritual spirit, the intermediary spirit that you build different things. That the body is telling you because that's from power. If I'm because I have to issue that I'm fighting out, break spirit, right? This is what my business, they built a lot more of and that's what you divination with special schools, not their that's kind of the biggest difference. But you also learn that the priests, even though they get respect, they do the stuff. So I'm literally here to serve people and not to just about that makes sense. So you understand that, anytime we get somebody comes to an individual, whether it is a physical illness, whether it is a spiritual illness, whether it is we have to work it out. Then you're trying to do all the different things coming through it. But the principal power spirit is not somebody and you're just trying to do what's right in that moment because that is the goal of that. traditions, and I'm going to know. And, you know, we carry out and culture where you are, you know, if I do that, my grandfather, I type it in there for him. Before we eat, we're putting food aside for, not just, you know, come to the conversation, there are things that, you know, because of that connection and what, their contribution, or maybe their contribution in history.
Before we get started, before we get started, and the idea of initiation is just like I think the word initiate start. Because initiate, sometimes people, you know, they do a thought process and study, and they graduate and they make it. And it is the actual position I find is quite the opposite. Initiate, and then you start the rest of your life. My first picture I did, I was upstairs, looking, and just like most of the time, they have to find it. The sun goes down, I need that all night. Like, when you do it up at 10:30, I need it. So I saw a light on the shrine, was something for the young boys that you hanging out. One aspect. I think the African system, having a very diverse, it's very diverse. It's physical realm, you know, house society, you know, president. You know, I bring to your house. So in my family, an African tradition is very diversified, very specific. You know, about generality, you know, black power, individual, and oftentimes, you know, I have, you know, very specific. Really tradition, family is very specific. Something that I thought also that is, that I found is very beneficial. That's is the idea of belief, like personal destiny. Everybody has a personal destiny. With my family, it's always tell all these stories, but I find stories are easier to understand. So, I'll tell you a story. This is really very, very real to me as we know. So I have a 3 years older than me. So you can imagine, 3 years older than me, my father was look like he had a good brother, like 16, 17, and then, you know, my grandmother was my father, my uncle. So my grandmother was sitting, the father hanging out clothes like twice a year, with every like 6 to 12 from my uncle. And I hated it. As a kid, I was like 6 years old. I'm not trying to do that, you know. So whatever, I wasn't that passionate conscious. I just, you know. So fast forward, like most black families, yeah, family from my island, another country, like 6 years younger than me. We did it. And from high school, from like 16, like 10. So I'm like, when you're in high school, like fifth grade, fourth grade, something like that. So high school goes to like 7 a.m., elementary goes to 8 a.m., probably at 7, at 8 o'clock, we shot in my house. Nothing going on here, and that, you know, I mean, no, I'll come home after school, and, I go back home, everything gonna be all right, and I'm ready to work on fresh going out, and I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I said, you know, like a 10-year-old, and I'm like, oh, it's sure, right? And I did that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, what is it? So fast forward to my first 15 nights later, I'm going to try this day, and then, the 40 Yorùbá, and my week comes up, will be growing. So this is what I'm thinking. So they, so all the young people are trying to initiate, you know, so I think this shows the young guys that are going to make their way up. Everybody says something, and the older person, you know, they're in the big. So all people will find English, two English. It's a person. So he said, and I said, he said, I said, you're not supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to be looking. How do you know that? How do you know that? That's the power of God. That is access to hope.
Yeah.
The words I gave you Arabic, believe that the last prophet saved mankind was Prophet Muhammad given that room. He came over 1,445 years ago. And he spoke Arabic. We believe that between Adam, who was the first man and the first prophet, and Muhammad, peace be upon him, we believe that the Creator sent thousands of prophets throughout the world. And so these were the first of the prophets, and then the Quran says how Muhammad is still the prophet. We believe that he was the last prophet. And in regards to the book, the Quran, we believe that the Quran is the last testament. That's God spoke through a book to mankind. And the Prophet Muhammad, his miracle was that the document that he was limited to, right, and he was reciting, and people would write the words down, and that's what the Quran is composed of. And in Islam, again, Islam is an Arabic word that means to submit to God and peace. And Muslim means an Arabic word, one who, whenever you see the word move in front of the word, one who is Arabic, and then one who is highly favored. Muslim is one who submits to God. So we believe all the prophets that you know about, all the prophets that you know, we believe that they brought Islam. And so, the principles of Islam, we call them the 5 pillars. First, there is no deity, one deity. We call it in Arabic God Almighty Allah. we also fast during the month of Ramadan. Next, it's basically the ninth month of the Islamic calendar. And we fast from dawn to sunset for 29 and 30 days because the month based on the cycle of the moon. The first crescent of the lunar calendar is 29 and 30 days. And we also pay what's called the forecast, which is 2.5% of the wealth that we have over the course of the Islamic year. And that's for the hungry and the grateful. It's for similar to like a welfare system for people who are needy. And the other principle, the last principle is the Hajj. That is where we believe first Adam built a house of worship, the first house of worship began. We believe that Abraham rebuilt. And so the direction that we pray is called the Qibla. And the Qibla is the direction all around the world, Muslims will find the direction to Mecca, Qibla. And that's what we visit once in our lifetime, if we're physically financially able. Those are the 5 principles of Islam. With regards to Islam's relationship to the African people, in the beginning, many of the Muslims were of African descent. They were, because the Arabs had relationships all times with African people. In fact, when the Yorùbá said that Libya and Egypt were once in Africa, they moved it. And so it became a new invention. And so, like even in the Bible, most of the events in the Bible around the took place in the continent of Africa. And so, Africans have always been part of Islam. Even the first video, in fact, and the calendar, the Muslim calendar, the Islamic calendar does not begin with the Prophet Muhammad's birth. It begins with when he was persecuted by the people from Mecca to Medina. And so the first video was when the Prophet Muhammad was coming to state some of his followers to Abyssinia, Ethiopia. And because he said that there was a Christian king there who was a righteous man. And so again, there was always this kinship with Africa in Islam. And then when you look at going into slavery, some scholars say that 30% of the slaves who came across the Middle Passage were Muslims. And then even when we go into all of the various movements, from the Muslim movement, civil rights movement, Muslims are all familiar with Al-Mahdi, Al-Shabaab, and the work that was done with him, and also people out of the different groups. He started off with the Nation of Islam, and then he died and practiced Islam probably the last year of his life. He died from birth to Islam, died in 1965. So I'm saying that Islam has always been present in the African diaspora, Arabia, Africa, and the slave trade, and also Thank you. Thanks for calling my name, the office. After teaching 30 or so years at Emory University and college, I tell my students my name is a theological name. It's short for Theophilus, which was contracted from the Bible name, "Through the lover of God." So my parents named me the career I have now. As a priest, but it'll be Thee. Thee is just fine. What we call T. Smith. I am an Episcopal priest at the Cathedral of St. Philip. Here in Atlanta. There is a K&E St. Philip, but this is the Cathedral of the Episcopal Church in Buckley. And I also taught in the religion department of English in both priest and scholar. And I like to explain the fact that I'm African American and Episcopalian by calling out that humorous name Afro-Saxon, Anglo-Saxon.
Black Episcopalians, way around. Because it's obviously strange to have African people occupy such a quite identified, quite European church. The Episcopal Church is the Anglican Church in the United States, and since the recent conflicts over the ordination of women and ordaining of LGBTQ folks in the Episcopal Church, many of us more conservative Episcopals split off and started calling themselves Anglicans, just to accentuate the difference in their tradition. But we're the Church of England, in the United States that broke the Church of England when the United States became the United States in the Revolution. We started our own Episcopal Church in the United States. So that's our history. We are Protestants. The Church of England began in England and the British Isles as part of the Catholic Church. And if you know the whole story about Queen Henry VIII and the first Queen Elizabeth breaking off from the Catholic Church, along with Martin Luther and the other Reformation breakaways from the Catholic Church in the 1600s. That's how we got started. The Baptists, Methodists, and all those Protestants came out of that Reformation break with the Catholic Church. We like to say that we are in the middle way between Catholics and Protestants, because like Catholics, we still have bishops, we still have priests, and we still celebrate the Mass, which we call the Holy Eucharist, which we believe that means Thanksgiving and Eucharist. But unlike Catholics, we're not under the jurisdiction of the Pope, the Bishop's Rome, the Holy. And we ordain women, and we're much more liberal, progressive identified. And the last thing I'll say about identifying our tradition is distinctively Protestant. We believe in what we call the three-legged stool, that the authority for what is divine and holy and requires obedience and allegiance. The authority in our church and our tradition has three criteria: Scripture, tradition, and reason, rationality. And so we have a joke, a poster that we used to have all over the United States that said, Jesus came to take away your sins, not your mind. Welcome to the Episcopal Church, where we value reason, Scripture, and tradition. We believe that God needs us to think, which then brings me as a scholar to African diasporic tradition. I wrote this book called Conjuring Culture, because I was doing liberation theology with James Cone and other books back in the day, that God also wanted us, African Americans, to embrace our African traditions, African spiritual traditions, pre-slavery, pre-colonial. And so that book, Conjuring Culture, I talk about African spirituality, or as contemplational, involving folk magical transformations of reality, based on conjure, voodoo, as well as spirit possession. The shamanistic aspects of our traditions, called spirit possession, as well as conjuring and ancestor veneration, ancestral religion. Most recently, that led me to the Black Panther movement. There was a nice connection with ancestral veneration and veneration of the ancestors and Afrofuturism. I'd love to explore more of that after that. I'm both formally married, being divorced to a Canadian woman. I have a beloved colleague who's a Vodoun and has taught me a lot about Korea. And I went to school with a female woman who's It's a long time. It's a very difficult conversation. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for your initial comment. That was very insightful. So I want to ask you all to talk a little bit about the reclamation for your own individual process. Like, what did reclaiming this tradition look like for you? How did it connect you more to your ancestors? How does it continue to connect you to your ancestors and your tradition?
This is a really interesting question. You said that you're the Black girl from Macon, Black girl from Macon. And we come from Gullah people. So the tradition was steeped in how it was raised, right? There were certain things that my brother would do. Oh, I hear salt. But she doesn't want people, whether it was thundering and she was not talking. And it was particularly bad. We thought, oh, we have to go out and set that. And I could do an active shop. Right, so we talked about sterling something, and we talked about African American cultural identity. So all of those things were woven nicely together. And I didn't think of it as anything other than that. And it wasn't until I got out that I realized that everybody was somewhere had to talk about ancestors like it. My husband first came to my family, and my aunt came, and she was like, oh, I talked to you last night. And my mom was like, oh, we talked about it. And then, and that's the part of the is something that is passed on to the women of the that you are able to speak with and contact and deal with people so that you can make sure that stuff. But I think the reclamation in terms of being actually getting initiated or going through the formal process, I always say the difference is that I know some traditions when you get initiated, it's like somebody's giving you something. I'm giving you the title to be giving you this. But the way that I took it, and the way that I was taught, was that no one can give you the script. No one can give you your relationship and your connection with God. Right? The difference is when a person gets initiated, it's like you hear the ancestors speak in law behind the door. Before you get initiated, you hear, well, initiated, you hear, girl, you don't do not do that. And you hear, but you know what road you're supposed to take. And the last thing I say about reclaiming what has reclaiming African tradition done for me, it has given me I can't even finish the word. It's given me a just like phenomenal thing, right? And what I think is that things don't always go the way that you want it. A lot of people think that when you're initiated and you go to a priest or you go to a minister, they pray for you, or they do things like this, everything is supposed to be perfect. And everything is supposed to work out exactly the way that you want it to work out, when you want it to work out. So reclaiming my tradition has not only taught me that no one can give me my relationship with God. No one can, It's not something new, it's something that my family has always. But no matter what happens, the Creator is there with me and for me. So if they I come, oh, I get that job, and I don't get that job, doesn't mean that the Creator is there. It just means that I didn't get that job, whatever. It might not have been the job, it may not have, but it has sparked me to walk with everybody. Yeah, that's all.
So, many of the things that good to resonate with, and I was real long, California. That's my kids all are not. My family is from Canada, from Hawaii, Canada, and so we go back there every summer, and I was very familiar with Scottish Christian, she actually opened the door for me to be able to say, when she got out of high school. So she was the first one that everybody was excited, right? Much like enslavement and how we had to learn to deal with African with Christianity and Catholicism. My family always merged what we understood to be our gifts with that Christianity. And I remember my mother and grandma was like, wash your clothes and iron your clothes tonight. I'm cooking everything for small tonight. And we made it up and we'll go to church. Okay? And then come home and do the stuff. But everything but that same grandmother, her sister was born with the following, you know. So she could see, and my grandmother used to all kinds of things. Here's all my nobody was fine. So there was always that, these kids that were following my family, dreams, and being able to warn people from the dreams. And I remember having one dream to call my dad. And I was like, Daddy, I'm dreaming, I'm crying. Okay, I'm coming back. So he was, and I talked to him in years. Somehow, my dream told her that her husband is ready to take her. And that's my dream was about. So my dream told them to take this. And then my aunt got me to touch me. So he took out my phone. So I first meeting, and I was in that and my grandmother so the whole is from Portugal. So all the ones that had the corner, we had my car, like and all so when I and when she sat down with me, like explained my whole life, things that she couldn't have known, and my sister believed me. We both started crying. And it wasn't like, you know, it was like you see me. And I'm so here that moment that I found like that. That's even while I'm growing up and my family, it started to be mine. So I've been with that in the next year to Donna, and then that's what it was all first. I got off and the air felt like this. And I was able to merge it with the things that I didn't talk about shepherd because my family had always done that. So I was able to sit with my father and have conversations when he would ask me certain questions because of his fear of me not being Christian anymore. And I asked him so much questions that were very calm. And one thing I said to him was like, you know, my heart. You know, this person, you know, I don't do it, you know, like, and yeah, that's really wrong. And you know, I've been working at the great them. I've been working at the now, and I'm pretty sure she don't have it. So I'll get conversations that have been so it brought me clarity, it brought me the feeling that I finally found my home, I finally found my name, and it also kind of gave me this foundation to deal with all the things that and I left African Indigenous but I just want to know that if here I go and deal with this, and we're walking down the beach, and she's like, I didn't do 1 month. And I was like, okay. Then you have 1 month to spend the pride, to in the air, and cut, to do it, to punch it or whatever. We have 1 month to get off the outside of the law. And then you like, yeah. She's like, the forgiveness is for you because this pain doesn't belong to you. And you do not deserve to comfort in your life. You do not deserve to be good. And that lady does not deserve to have a good life. And you deserve to see the world as it is, not based on that standpoint of things. And I looked at her and I said, yes, ma'am. And I asked her mom to be on the process of forgiving somebody that they never did to me. So it's always been excited to see, even when something happens, what is the beauty in the things that happen. I can see my own, and I can also see the positive things. For bad part. And right afterwards, I'm talking to my sister, and people think we're crazy, like laughing on the phone. And I'm like, listen, the blessing is my baby's rectified. My blessing is that everything is and that's all. People that can be, and but even there's healing in that. There's healing that people can see all out of it. So that's the thing that's horrible. And just everything is going to touch on it. But I can pull the out of the darkness because of the lessons that I learned.
Your reclamation process and how your ancestors to reclaim who they were and their spiritual.
So was like she cooked for sure. She taught me how to cook, and she wasn't like a great like to that home. Like, grandma, she was like, oh, they don't talk about so with yeah, so she was so me and boys travel like this one thing like this travel from Mississippi to my father's family to Mississippi. And so my grandpa was to walk. We were so that we were there together. So the and so every summer as a kid I was always go visit. And so I got working in the and I was like, how is it? My mother was there. You might have been I'm 18, she had like 55. I'm like, that's not a problem. There's no way. you're wrong. Wrong. That is not real. And it's not. And it wasn't. So that kind of flipped my script a bit. And it put me on a path to spiritual back then. Where I began to really, I had personal investment. Now, prior to that, I was raised as a kid, and I was kind of raised to be limited in that position. I could read very well. My mother taught me how to read like 2 years. My mother, yeah, parents kind of she said down there watching Joe Hospital, I'm sitting there watching Joe Hospital. So we should go back and why. But he's like, okay, you know that. So my grandmother finished, I actually taken European history. And the first semester, we studied Christianity. So like Martin Luther, Henry, and all that. So I had my grandmother finished, I had to read about it. I was let me go back to that. I need to look up. Because my biggest challenge at the time was not being yeah, to come and see what's up. And so I took that time to visit. So I checked out the world for a while. And then I had a friend that had, okay, so I'm 48, I'm 49, but now I actually went to the perspective of both of them to know that in 1983, he went away, expanded, you know, all things we know is just by friend and he had a divination with the alternative card and one to be called point. So so I did this system with the card and it said one thing, but we had the same thing. How do you know? So for myself, I studied children for a long time. And I was like, well, what is the academic thing? Because our tech is great, it's accurate, but they said it's accurate. I didn't want to skip over the general and skip over the rest to go all the things. That's what they're doing. Effects, you know what I mean? Like, the Chicago, like, you know what I mean? That's what we set. So, I was really going to school. I met about a lot of Christian people. And then so I started to shrine and then moved my sister there. And my sister said, "No, I'm going to talk to you." I'm like, okay. So I moved my shrine and my sister was giving me a rock. You know, something else happened, and then she's having a conversation. She was over there, and I was over there as a kid. She was, she was talking to me, and she telling me stuff that I know she was there. I'm like, okay. So, that's like a good. That's a whole bit of I'm very fortunate that my mother supported my and church, and they asked me that I want to get back. And I said, I go to church. And so I'm the only one who can together. But it costs. In the background, party out, we have kids out there, and we listen to all that is part of the environment. So, the relation with this one used to get us off the corner and get off fishing. And earlier, I went to a call back. We people that we were building up. But doing integration there, my school had to look at my house and my foundation. And then doing the integration came, the question. And so I became friends with a lot of people. Like it, that was on a social level. And so then later on, when the nation comes and they would talk about the white man is the devil, but you know, and the Lord said, yeah, he's not the devil. And you know, it resonated with me, but the first time I heard of it, and I knew my family members who were really, you know, from the project. And so the nation didn't become a part of the nation, involved and then had a teacher, Johnny Pond, and so one day she came in class and I was going and she put on balance and books and I'm listening. The next day, she put a message to progression. And I thought about that, I'm not in this thing. And so but I didn't become a Muslim because no mock. And so later on, we got involved and actually was part of and so I go through what I call my internal revolution.
stop all this. Because at that time, South Africa, they don't let me go in, like, help people in South Africa. They got all these bad habits, so they can, basically, get rid of these bad habits. Get rid of the immediate challenge was the fast that we follow. When I think the vegetarian fast, something sustaining you, and I'm not taking in my body. So that's when, I really started looking at spiritual aspects. And I would tell people, step away from all of it. And so I would tell people, well, this is what I believe in this. People are living with. In fact, one of the people that and I said, well, he was around with it. And I said, and so that's how I take part of the conversation. Love is roots that and then every part of the living and she was, I was telling him he did a great thing. And so she comes in, and her maiden name was my father's family name. And so I wrote her and said, well, this is my father, this is my grandfather. And then she wrote me back, well, this is your great grandfather, this is your great great grandfather. In fact, it's true. All those people are family, and so she traced it to the people which is African. And then my mother started to family reunion and they did the genealogy. And so when my father's side was 28 and when my mother's side is the house of which was heavily Muslim. And so, then started studying Islam and eventually I went to the hospital and my movement called Darul Islam, one of the oldest movements here in practice Islam. That was my journey within the AI. I said, once we get Africa, then we'll next in the world, and Islam is around the thing. One time the variations of language and color, and also gave the from and then when I came out with the and he said, boy, I'm just glad to see you.
After college, I discovered Black theology back in the 60s with James Cone, who wrote the first book in Black theology called Black Theology and Black Power. And as I began to study what Black and racial theology could mean for our people, in our heritage, it's violence against Black people, and the violence of Black people against each other was a simple thing to figure out how to deal with. So I began to study as a scholar violence studies and connecting to violence studies and religion, and came across the work of René Girard on so-called sacred violence and scapegoating. And René Girard was a Franco-American scholar at Stanford University. And Girard was convinced that in the Christian Mass, the Holy Communion in Eucharist, there's a rich anti-scapegoating system. In scapegoating, we all gather around the designated victim, an identified victim, and we all agree that this victim is the source of our conflicts in our ability to get along with each other. And so we target that one victim as the cause of our discord, and cast stones at them and throw them out, expel them. One way or the other, inflict on them the punishment. And the fact that we're able to agree unanimously that this victim is the cause of our conflicts creates unity for the rest of us at the expense of the scapegoat. That's the classic scapegoat mechanism. And Girard discovered that this was going on throughout human civilization from the very beginning. The primal scene, the beginning of human intelligence, the human culture's ability for human beings to cooperate with one another at the expense of the scapegoat. And we saw this operating throughout civilization. And classically, the Jews, for example, in Western civilization, the Jews are the preeminent scapegoat. We can all agree that they are the Christ slaves. The reason why we don't have any victims of poor people because the Jews are the Jews. And so we identified the scapegoat mechanism throughout culture in Western civilization, and thought that the Eucharist was a gathering of penitents, believers, around a sacred victim on the altar, whose body and blood represent the remains of the victim in the sacrament of the Mass. And in the name of the sacred victim, we vow never again to do this to another human being. So he saw in the Holy Communion an anti-scapegoating ritual. Now, nobody ever taught me in seminary or anywhere, church, Sunday school, that was the deep structure of Holy Communion. And so I began to think, well, if that's possible, Christianity has done atrocious, vicious things throughout history, governing beliefs, states, slavery, and so on and so forth. But is it possible that it was also concealed inside of this tradition a kind of a secret source of human flourishing, of human goodness, and holiness, and transformation and transcendence? So, having studied that as a scholar, I was persuaded that that was true. And lots of scholars have looked at this since and said, the apostles, after they betrayed Jesus on the night he was betrayed, they were persuaded, they thought that he would condemn them after he was resurrected and raised again. Instead, he embraced them and forgave them and sent them out to the world, preaching forgiveness, spare victims, intervene, in fact, intercede on their behalf, and make your own body and blood now very deliverance. Become broken on yourself, so that there will be no more victims. And so that's and so what are all these other traditions? Islam, our ancestral traditions, in West Africa, and Hinduism and Buddhism, what if there were a deep structure in all these traditions, but that some kind of secret way of creating our entire race, species, from vicious violence and scapegoating and hatred? What if that's the missing link in all the traditions, that they all have some way of dealing with that, or propagating and making it real. So let's check it out. Let's make that a hypothesis. Grant the possibility of all these traditions are under a non-religious another resource on the entire species for reclaiming our humanity. And let's be about the subject, not just the scholars, but house practitioners. We become priests in the church. And that every Sunday at the high altar, whatever the program Christian church I can be found, celebrating Easter. And also the scholar continuing to explore the interfaith unity of all our traditions, for saving our species. And now let's listen to the back of thinking. So the question is, so the link between racial capitalism and what's going on right now in our culture is the risk of every human being now, especially under the influence of artificial intelligence, could be installed as commodities. This is what the slave trade did to our ancestors. We were the currency. Our bodies, African bodies, were the currency that built Western capitalism. Western culture went to school on capitalism. The foundation of market economies was the slave trade. Those market offices in the Dutch, Indian, East Indian Dutch, East Indian trading, slave trade, they counted. How do you keep track of all of these slaves and how much were they making? When they abolished slavery, they had to compensate the slave owners. The accounting mechanism in Liverpool was built on the slave trade. And then those market economies took off after they didn't have slaves, they had other commodification processes. The threat facing us on dystopian futures, anti-utopian dystopian futures, is that all our lives become commodities. Our data, the data of our personal existence and identities, become traded, become more popular on through the World Wide Web, artificial intelligence, harnessing of processes. And the question is, what resources are there to prevent that worst case scenario? The restoration of our traditions that involves dramatic processes for reclaiming our humanity from commodity dehumanization. Restoration to nature, restoration of our indigenous traditions with natural processes of ecology, of climate and earth processes that our ancestors venerated, because venerate is for reclaiming nature and improving human nature. So I'm all in for an interfaith reclamation of our humanity along with our sacred ecology through our traditions. And I'm sorry to say that it looks to me like the conventional forms of most of our traditions have capitulated to capitalism. That I'm afraid that many of our churches are corporate institutions, corporatization of the family, of the sciences, and of religious institutions. And the only rescue I see to that is the reclamation in our traditions of the shamanistic, of the neo-shamanic core connection with nature and
So you said you from North Carolina and Virginia. What part? Yeah. Yeah. You know. Okay. Okay. You know, I'm from Virginia and North Carolina, so I always gotta check that out. Yeah. Yeah. We do have a way of balancing sport, right? We have a particular ancestor in our tradition of our spirit that is responsible for settling debts. So that our ancestral debts are on us and ancestral debts we owe. So by having that in check, it kind of balances, so, okay, so this person comes along, somebody might come for a divination, and it comes up in the shrine that the reason this is happening to you is because your ancestors was one of the ones who ratted on people who kind of overkill people in plantation. And so until you settle this, and this may happen. Or your ancestor, you have to pay this particular debt to your ancestor because you're not going to become walking in the way that, your ancestors struggle. So in the Epic tradition, we do have that. So we settle this for now.
And it trust me, they've been asking for.
Hey, y'all right? I'm going to ask one of our I invite people to figure out what question they want to, and this is coming out of my own concept. So I'm a passionate person, I'm working the emotion. So I function in leadership in two traditions at the same time. I don't recommend it to my work. That's why you have elders and workers. To know what to work with. But what I experienced a lot in Pan-African spaces, in liberation theology spaces that are Christian, is this need to always be in conversation in an oppositional way with each other, right? So this is why we fight Christianity. And this is why the kind of practice is why you can leave the church. And this is why you can stay in church. You see what I'm saying? Am I the one? Is that me? Right? It's positioned as they have to be in opposition, right? And for me, as a person who is seminary trained, I know that Bible is written out. Christianity is an African tradition. It is, right? But instead of us dealing with the way that it's been baptized by like supremacy, and naming that we were taught a person that isn't in fact true to the text, our cultural conversations are always opposition, right? That's anybody experience? Okay. So I want like conversation around it. Like, can we name that? Can we put that in the room? Because no, everybody has to not do anything. But I particularly think about young folks, Generation Z, and what I see on TikTok. Folks are really reaching for traditions and practices for the healing that they desire, and are interested in the traditional height that our tradition tends to reward. Somebody else. Right? And doing this oppositional thing is that we'll folks, because we're not figuring out how to be in conversation with each other. So I would love to hear from you all as panelists is what have you experienced around that opposition, and where can you help us to build more connection between our differences? Where have you experienced it? And how can your experience, particularly in your faith tradition, or just in how you see it, right? You all are right. How can we build more of those connections? Because at the end of the day, stuff I literally, y'all, was like, right? Like the experience I had in my life, when she's like, oh, that's this. not doing. Right? But I think that's what's at stake for us as Black folks, right? Particularly as you mentioned, Dr. C, with AI, with access to information. And, you know, anybody who can work with algorithms can be a lot wrong. But for someone who doesn't know better, so let's name that opposition, right? Like, why are we in opposition? Why is it oppositional? What's been your experience around that opposition? And how can we shift that?
I like to say some of the reasons why I feel I see opposition or I encounter opposition because as African people, we have become so skilled at not naming our oppression and recognizing our oppression. Because basically, that's what it is, right? We are all hurt. We are all trying to heal. We are all traumatized. And I don't even like using the word all. But I think in this instance, I can say all white people are hurt. All white people have intergenerational trauma. So what does that mean? What that means is that when people come into organizations, when they become a priest, when they become a minister, when they become, you know, anyone who's a leader in a Black tradition, and they're not focusing on their own healing and not recognizing the ways that they're damaged, they are continuing to perpetrate that damage and that sickness on other people. You see it a lot in Elays, you see it a lot, you see it a lot in churches, you see it a lot everywhere, because Black people need to heal, right? Another thing is that African people have been, their power and their agency has been taken away for so long. So whenever they're able to come into a different position of power that helps them to feel anything, they kind of grab it. And some people, this is where not all, but some people will abuse that. Like Brother John came up to me and he was like, oh, what's the proper way to reach you? Should I get off my You know, I may have been initiated, I may have been practicing this for 30 something years, but we don't know each other in the context. You don't know my character. You don't know if I just came home from kicking my dog. You don't know what's about me. Like, you need to interact with me, not just but in private spaces. And when you see my character, and when you see how I am, then we reach each other because it's ground walk. Now that's not to say that the age and the hierarchy thing isn't real, because it is a real thing, but you don't go ballet, because go ballet in Nigeria, as you all know, anyway, is to any answer, and it's elder. It doesn't have to be a priest or a priest. You go ballet to your mother, you go ballet to your aunts, to uncles. You give honor and respect to everyone, despite who they are, if they have respect. So I think all I can say is that we really need to take time to make sure we heal ourselves, right? That we heal our families, we heal our community, we heal our children, we heal our friends. And in that way, we can start to see us as one people instead of these fragments because of our
I appreciate that. One of my favorite things to say to my students is this is not competition, right? So one of our proclivities, because we are in this Western space, is to see everything out in a very European way, literally European world, it's very European way. So nice that we have opposition, you are going to have, that you are wrong. That is not okay, and it is my job to make sure that I can work with what I do. So that that is where I see most of the opposition. But when I'm not talking, I've not, you know, I think one of the things like, you know, we're using different names for God. But you call that this, I call that this, you call that this. Because if I have the right on the board, we have a spirituality conversation. Everybody goes to the board and writes down whatever the spirituality is. Okay. And then nobody they go together. We're having a spirituality conversation, and I look at the board and I say, well, if it's true that they're president of Wednesday, they say yes, they're president of yes, they're still white. And that's not true sometimes. And if I come to the board and I draw a board for God and will, everybody's on a different path. We just have a way to get it to the same thing. And I think that's a lot. Why is not that? It's all that we're trying to do the same thing with different things. We are all the same thing with different words, all traditions. There's like this. Also, when many of us are after we have been Christian for this amount of time, we've been a lot of times we still believe that opposition and that no, if this way is not supposed to be like that. And sometimes we don't see it that way. I'm doing our work with these guys teaching, but first understand that my tradition I say you turn to the right, and his tradition I say you turn to the left. That's just different. It only becomes opposition when we start fighting and say, no, you're supposed to turn right, no, you're supposed to turn left. That's what it becomes. But literally because we are, and not in terms of European, well, it is this thing. And I'm not education, right? So I track this education. The fact that it's the same way that it was in 1800, it was created to give Judeo-Christian ideology to the people. And then it was flipped to teach white men, white young men, and bring them into what where we have people, we take the geniuses, and everybody else everybody else learns how to operate inside the system. And now you have people who are afraid if you don't give them templates, you're asking, what is it supposed to look like? What is it supposed to look like? Okay. So literally we have grown up ACL, education, those of us who go to college, we are getting further indoctrinated into that ideology. Even the closer we get, we can't see that yet. It is a closer to and they would right? So with the goal of that's when we start to have opposition. That's how we have this important thing. Okay, you might have trying to do this well. Okay, you're thinking that I do this.
No, we're looking right. One of my previous talks, we shared that we get a decision. And that's just part of that's just part of the court. Nothing to do with all of this. So just like the way that the walk back and all the things. The lion doesn't get the antelope. Man, you know, hungry. The antelope like, all this after the lion got no hand. You know, so I think it's going to so many things are personal, are very personal. Things that aren't personal. the most of everybody in the group is we spoke about things that they talk. I don't like that. Just like our blood type, our allergy, what of our hair, not music, all those things first, those are not the big ones. You know, try all birds, up, down, left, right, in, out. What is going on? These regulations is sufficient. I have I inherited forward for my ancestors on my mother's body. So and I'm sure they had all types of thoughts like this, all types of habits, conditions, what it means for this one, for that thing. So this one was scientific, genetic, all of that and all those things. So we're talking I imagine all of our primary language is English, which means that we're running an English software program. You know, we have it like God, we need a word. Some of that. You know what I mean? Right. So we're arguing about some really really hard. So you're talking about. And then the whole game is so focused. So I think it's so much to learn. Very much to learn. The idea about thinking about it really on your own. Yeah. And it is into it. But in this country, learning this language is a lot of times because the majority of the Muslims, early Muslims are Arab. A lot of times people have a negative connotation to Islam and with Arab, they played Africa. But if you look at slavery before, and also I would say slavery is like the doctor. Everybody was involved. You know, people financing it, people starting off the enemy. So that's one of the things that causes a lot of relief. One is learning about work and kept and when you doing like evaluation, it's been used to drive to work together and you increase it. And so that's the story all So I'm reminded of the end of the movie when Chadwick Boseman, Chief Charles, addresses the United Nations. And he says we must, Wakanda's going to come out of hiding. We now realize that we're all in this together as a human race. We all need to be one tribe instead of building walls between nations. That's the way the first Black Panther ended. And I'm sorry to see that the sequel, Wakanda Forever, does not live up to that high work. And simply has a festival of pitting Latino like Black Panther superheroes against Wakanda Black Panther superheroes. Just a lost opportunity to live out the ending of the first that Afro-Futurist vision of our human unity across all traditions. So the way I like to think of it, my mother is a strong woman. That's class of 1946. So she's 37 years old. My mom being social welfare work, social worker, and then public school teacher, different school. Went to seminary and adopted ministry. The first Black Baptist ministers were not ordained Black men. In the 80s, she was ordained by the Black Baptist Convention and started a house church. And so I'm now the vicar of Faith Alive Tabernacle Ministry. Mom's house church. I'm the vicar. He's the ministry. And I make sure I do not take over. That's not my calling. And the members of the congregation include theosophists. We thought people were unity school Christianity, and we don't always sing the same tune as Black Baptist and stuff. That's not Catholic. Our liturgy is not. It's still a work in progress. It's still opposition, great opposition. So here's what I understand. Any tradition, we declare any traditions is opposition. Also, oppositional dynamics going on inside its own institutions and communities. You don't cease to be oppositional just because you don't cease to be oppositional. And so we're doing it to ourselves internally and acting out externally on others. It's targeting it. The way to stop targeting out other people is to stop targeting in ourselves. And so hopefully the solution figure out to get along with the people that we regard as characters in our own religion. False believers, reconcile both internally and externally. And so one way I like to say this is that no single tradition is sufficient for its own to live up to its own identity. That all the traditions are missing something that they need to get from some other tradition in order to fulfill its own quality. So until we find out what that is, we're going to really put against them. And who's playing the game when you're playing against fire? The dark side.
The one question.
There was that big in Nigeria, and I watched and the brothers will still talk and get a competition.
Sorry about that. One of my initiations was during December, and literally they would have a Christmas festival. And all of my was like, no. All night long, like I was up at 3 a.m. and they was on the drum right up the street from my old house, going in for Christmas. So yeah. So thank you all for exactly the thing I was saying.
Well, thank you everyone. It was so nice to meet you.
Tell us your name.
Jennifer. I want to ask about Google News in terms of the opposition conversation and the position. Do you think that if we look, not changing one perspective, if we did look at Christianity from the original language, from the Arabic, where you thought English was full from, do you think Christianity would then let go of the doctrine what we've been taught and be more open? Because the original language opens it up for all traditions to be interconnected. Is it that we stop teaching how it's been taught and teach how it's really did? You know?
So, St. Clair Joyce was an African American cultural anthropologist. He wrote a book called Black Folk Here. And I agree with this conclusion. I cannot verify the Bible or Christianity and Judaism as African heritage traditions. He identifies Black folks. They're Ethiopian, there are Berber connections in North Africa, and then there's West Africa. So all that's coming in. What I do understand is that in my tradition, that the Christianity coming out of Judaism is a revolutionary tradition, and that part of what's going on with anti-Semitism is that it's so revolutionary that we have to target the traditions that resist empire, imperial powers became in ancient Egypt, Egyptian and Iranic powers that enslaved rulers and students and Egyptian royalty. That the tradition that since let the slaves and liberate slaves out of Egyptian imperial that revolutionary energy is embedded in Christianity and that the conflict and that in the course of Christianity becoming a global religion, and of course that Christianity becoming an imperial cult, the transition from Christianity as a persecuted religion, Christianity becoming the religion of the empire, involved the co-optation of the revolutionary origins of the tradition. That the tradition became co-opted for imperial power. So what we have now is Christianity as an imperial cult. It still has embedded within its original revolutionary energies, but they are enslaved, harnessed, enthralled under the Catholic. Martin Luther, the German, wrote a book called The Babylonian Captivity of the Church, which he ascribed to the Roman Catholic Church. But it's really the entire tradition is under captivity. And so, I'm sorry, so your question is, how can we rescue this tradition from the way in which it fails to live up to its ideals?
But with the original text, because the original text brings it all together.
But I want to say this is the question, not just for Christianity, but for all the traditions. Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism. Judaism right now in the Israel cause of war. Oh my God, the entire world watching a tradition self-implode, watching a tradition that is meant to free all people in the name of God, become exactly the opposite of what it's called. So I would say that I want want to say all the petitions are indicated in that field. So yes, ask me about Christianity, because let's ask me about religion. Let us then cooperate in rescuing each other.
So we respond to that. I'm a assistant administrator goes back and we're in the ministry. And one of the things that I find is one of our challenges is that most of us are more focused on the Bible than we're on Christian teaching. That the Bible has become this God for most of us. And so if you are focusing there and you're not understanding the history of this, if you don't understand how to read this book, then you may find yourself in an interlation. And so one of the things that New Thought does is that we read the Bible metaphysically. So we go beyond what those words, the literal meaning of the text. And we began to look at that text, a reflection of who we are as humans and how these human needs and these human concepts have been with us all the time. And how we use those stories to help us grow. And for me, I don't believe the Bible at Revelation, but our continuing story is in Harriet Tubman's story, it's in your story, it's in your story. So if we can read that in the manner that allows us to grow, then that's helpful. But if we're reading it in a manner where we say, this is, as you said, we believe this and we believe that, and we're coming at each other, it has no use. So we have to look at the Bible in a spiritual manner. We need to look at it and recognize that it is a document that can be used, but it is not to be used literally. And I think that's where we get in a lot of trouble. And it's interesting to me, when I became a part of the New Thought community, I was with my mom, and I was like, and she was talking about the devil. I said, Mom, I put aside the devil. And she said, if you're not doing it right, you're going to bust hell wide open. And it seems to me a lot of times the devil has more power than God in Christianity. And a lot of Christian churches spend more time talking about the devil and going to hell and doing wrong than they do uplifting love and forgiveness and the true teachings of Jesus Christ.
To tie back to your question, because you said that the original language of the Bible was Arabic.
Aramaic.
Everybody get like a long list of the people that they use, but we were fortunate enough to study with Dr. Charles Finney, study with people like Lisa Hilliard, like I said, remember Ivy, John, all these people were coming through, spelling out all these different kinds of parts, just a whole while everywhere, so we had a chance to, get to know them. And in getting to know them, they did talk a lot about the Bible and how it actually came out of the Egyptian art of the metaphor of the prophet. I just want to mention. But
And then a question. So the first comment I wanted to share with Antoinette in Homestead. I'm a and I was about my first grade class. They don't know but this is what the population needs to do. It's when I started studying and learning things, right? And so, but it so resonated with me when he said in the reading, and I was listening to all kind of believe what they say. That's in the tradition
So I think that's a commonality a lot of going to African traditional space is that they get reading, that first reading is what puts them, you know. So that was my comment. My question is, I started studying and being involved in conflict life. At that time, the practice was like one initiation. Now we're getting 7 or 8 initiations, and then also initiating into other traditions like you have time, and go through Bukumi and Christianity, well, that's more. Like I'm saying is I see this trend over the last, what is that, 20-something years, 25 years, or more people are being initiated to more research spiritual systems in African spiritual practices. Like, you know, some Islam and Islam, right? So why do you think at this stage in the 21st century, so many people are being brought into different cultural systems at the same time, as opposed to 20 years ago when it was like, you Ifa are maybe on Shumpri, but you're not Ifa or Shum or Boom, they boom boom, and then so I would like someone to maybe address why we're so getting all of the different initiations now, where as is it greed? You know, I mean, you understand what I mean when I say greed? You got I'm gonna sit down.
A little bit different, because like you said, coming into the tradition via reading, that necessarily wasn't my inclination. I was kind of making sure I grew up, my best friend, who for my all intents and purposes a relative now, her father was Yorùbá. So I literally grew up in an area that we had a lot of continental Africans. I always liked the joke that I was raised by Africans. We had people from we had. So a lot of my most formative years, I was raised as a little African child. If that is. So me coming into the tradition wasn't necessarily reading as opposed to I knew something was wrong. Because I tried, you know, Islam, I tried all sorts of revolutionary theology, I tried all of these things, but Ebe was the one that spoke to me because it obviously has elements of all of these things. It even has a space for Islam, right? So when we said Ebe Voodoo, the reason why we say Voodoo is because the Fon language, that is just, they share some elements with the Fon. So it's not like they practice it two things. And I say Ebe because that's the name of the culture that I practice. I don't practice Voodoo. Because I mean, like, what is it, right? So when people say I practice it, so I like to always preference it with the people so you can know who I'm talking about. You can fix a location and an identity and a culture to these people, but they don't come everything, right? You know, this is the evidence. They are Anglo people. They speak this language. They have these are their traditions, and that's what they want to do. So they don't practice a lot. They don't incorporate a lot. They don't initiate. And we do find people who initiate somebody who's been initiated into something else. I'm telling you right now, that person is not replicable right away. Because it is a lineage tradition. So you're not going to have somebody. I had, as a matter of fact, I had one sister who was a York, and when it was divine that she needed to be evidence, she had to get rid of all her trauma. She could not have it. She could not be practice Yorùbá and Ebe because they don't get down. They'll recognize it, they'll be respectful, but you can't say that you're a Mamisi Hunan and the opposite. That doesn't work.
So I think right. So part of the way we come to this place, the way that our ancestors bring us here, our ability, right? So my analogy will always back to African, which follows the lineage of my right? So that is how I think that as a gospel African and human needs. So I was taught by that. And it's over again, like, 25, 30 years ago. So I out with a lot of the younger people that some people that need. You know, I see people who go to the meeting and now they have staff meetings. Or, you know, look, and that was the thing on that. The babies where, you know, where I live, so they would like to come and get a staff meeting, because that's the whole thing. And I see some of those other people coming into the tradition and then not wanting to follow that lead because they're not coming that they but they have not been able to sit still and learn in that space. So I think it comes from both ends. But yeah, the reality is it's a lot of work. So because you have to do, you know, you have to don't stack in, you know, take care of it. But yeah, I say I keep walking. One, yes, lineage, and that's the way that I think walking more that way. But also, people getting new information and excited about that information. Because you are, stuff like that. So when we start to feel like you are in your language, you can get excited. And some people don't understand the break. They're going to conversation and sit down. We're also in this generation, they don't have to wait for them. Yeah. So we the TVs go off midnight. They don't have locations, even their going to look there are some things that are happening how their minds have been set up in terms of all overstimulation and content.
Oh, I just wanted to say, because, you know, just like Bill, on what Cynthia said about the mom for the tradition is matriarch, not religion. So that's why it comes to me, and that's why, you know, we have that one. So certainly, you know, my husband will practice what he practices. But in terms of who we are, and not religious tradition, that's why I can't do more. Because even though we recognize that we have our, we have all different traditions, the mommy word is the oldest. And because it's the oldest, it's the most senior. So that's why. And it fits me because it addresses my Yorùbá aspect, it addresses my aspect, it addresses all the different traditions in that one.
Yeah, the something I think that information is developed for like so we have more access to information than we did 30 years ago. Language is cheap. WhatsApp is information. So I don't, it could be for some, like who makes the potato salad? Just because it's potato salad on the table, don't mean you don't get everybody potato salad. So just, but you don't get everybody. Right, right. So I mean, who did it potato salad? So the idea that everybody practices a particular thing or does a particular way, doesn't mean the right way, wrong way necessarily. I think information is different, plane tickets are cheaper. And also too, with that information, we have more access to information, whether asking questions. You know, I'm talking every day. And we do it every day. We can just check. 3 minutes, you know what I mean? Whatever. So the information is different. So I think the access to information and people being able to go deeper on the other side, maybe, right? And on the other side of it, access to information. So I know people that get in initiation and then in that middle of that initiation, have to stop. And have to be dealt with. And that initiation have to back I think that as information becomes, access to information, really, it's like your army. You open it, oh, you know, it's that. I thought I was doing everything. You know, so we came up, and I was like, you do this thing, like, oh, I can get that thing. I'm like, oh. I have a lot of stuff. You don't know that we go deeper. This is the recent thing. Here's that. You know, other things about this divination. Some things about this why. When you get something at 30, we're going to be different at 50. And we may be something different at 60 as we develop the world. You know, some makes people like different things like
Depending on the responsibility of your career and your destiny or reason, also family. Like I know for me, some of my stuff is because of what I have. And that's the other part, right? Like sometimes initiation can be but it's going on. Yeah. We're at time, and I was thinking that we would take all the questions, take all the questions at once, and then close with a response. Okay, yes. So if you have questions, this is the only question we're gonna hear all the questions that are left, and then I'm gonna ask the panelists to give us your closing remarks. We'll respond to our final questions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rafael. Before I begin my question, I'd like to offer gratitude for our panelists, or members, y'all for being on. My question is, how does your spiritual tradition honor the sacred healing power?
Hi, thank you so much for being here. The beautiful person of my friend. And thank you for everyone who organized this. My question was, how do you cultivate confidence and resilience to be your authentic self? And I say this in context that I am queer, but I'm also an Aboriginal. And, you know, there's some people in the community who are pretty conservative, but that's, you know, what they grew up in, and also we have to recognize that queerphobia and homophobia are rooted in colonialism from white supremacy. So I have compassion for people who don't understand me, but I don't want to limit myself in those spaces out there. It feels like I have to come back to my level. I have to separate. This is my queer self, this is my ambitious self. How do I cultivate that confidence and resilience?
I have two things to say. Last questions. Curious about whether give more thought to more popular with AI. Especially so, as we have been working with agencies, not so and then secondly, to this area, wondering anyone knows any resources around masquerade, creating masquerade, learning, might be abstract about too much. Yes, would love anyone
social tools to
So the question is primarily around AI and our spiritual technologies that are ancient that both quickly and are integrated into the technology and culture. I want to say thank you to everyone for your time. If you need to please feel free. You are free to go because we are over our 2 hours and we really are late. We're grateful that you came out for our exchange this evening. Thank you to our exchange for always and also I would say we have clear, very, very clear. We say it wrong by. And not for him. So you need to have a certain conversation. You need to have some one-off about the resources. You know, we'll be here afterwards to have those conversations. So thank you for coming. You need to see where this is for the panel. Sacred rest, queerness and authenticity, your tradition, and AI and spiritual technology. Thank you all for your time.
One of the things that I would like to say about AI, something that is more of the definition that you are, that is the binary facility for the for because it's one right? And the different combinations that they have to see the individually that they can all up with the computer. So that's all I'm saying about it. How we honor sacred rest in my tradition is that in terms of doing divination and doing work, the shrines are very specific. Right? I know a lot of friends say will come to me and they will always get offended when they were trying for divination before any of those things. I will go to the shrine and I'll say, so has a problem. Is this something that you can help with or that you're willing to help? And a lot of times, shrines will tell me, or yes, but a lot of times I was like, no, we haven't helped this person. Why? It was like, okay, these are the reasons why this person is going to come. You're going to tell them everything that they need to do. You're going to make all they're not going to do it. So that means that you have to come back to us and they have to make supplication and pray on their behalf because I'm the keeper of the knowledge of what they just saw. So I'm responsible for their well-being. I'm responsible to make sure that even if they're not listening, I'm offering prayer to them so that they can do what they want. So one of the ways that they honor sacred rest is by saying, girl, we have to get you involved in this. We have to working on it. Still old boy, still mother.
I have to tell you before, like, I wish that we back to be sure. No, I'm sure, because once you know, you can. So, as I was thinking about that, that's the moving more into it. I feel like our, both what I wrote that and, they, and so he's like, oh, yeah. I can see where it's starting to get so there, but we were clear that is what is talking about here. So I think we need to look more at the population of the conversation. I know that there are a lot of students that are in the chat and stuff like that before, not in time, but ideas like that. But I still want to see the kind of people who do it. So again, it's our AI avatar. we've done. In terms of rest, about water, we're talking about, when we have, when it's not, they feel dark, it's like, oh, no, it's not. But then, from here, it's all get on, things to be on that schedule. We lost things. And I would know, like, and rest. It's working. Because the reality is that I come to your top one and they're telling you, you don't know the top. But you don't go back and go back, right? So you can rest for rest. If you are not really taking rest. So if I have rested, I make my connection. I haven't taken the time to take care of my body when I came home. So absolutely, that piece of information is represented. And then I would also have to say that categorization is a marketing mechanism. Everything can be categorized. That's why you do something because you got to think. But when I mission and visiting different countries on continent, we're not categorizing. You are who you are. So that's what I said to you, really work on African brand work. Well, no, right? Don't say she, she, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so sometimes because everything will be translated as she. It's not a he, it's a she. So when she said she comes to the store, I'm like, oh, they could say that father, oh, he's the company store. There's times and I don't know. So, and then even, like, they used to do their long house reading on it, and they were like, and if you don't do this, like this is like anything that if you have a problem, you pull away because it doesn't mean the same thing. And I think that intellectual people aren't.
I think I would just all of the question. Like artificial intelligence, AI. I took the time to figure out what the difference is. Natural intelligence. So I think for everyone, for all of us, it's like what's the nature and what's the natural. And it's not and everybody it's not a universal thing. Like some birds swim, like penguins swim. Some birds fly. You others, 10,000 species of birds will fly. Some fish do fly. Some squirrels do fly. So it's about what's natural for us as individuals, and then that's really perfect. So artificial intelligence, fear, artificial intelligence, fear, like we're afraid of the challenge. Never does. It's always the people looking. It's always the people looking. So who made the potato salad? It's not the same. No, this is important. That's something that universal, like one air, one water, one dress. Dress is what's the nature of the thing. That some bird that up in there, I see some out. a natural. People talk about like crabs in the bear, crabs on the road. That's why it's not. And that looks at our brain, our brain, questions, and really deeply questions what the act is. And then you make it actually.
Talk about the garbage in, garbage out. So, it's like opposite word is politician. National organic. It's not politician. So you use that. It's not just program. Information that we want. We got the rest, recorded around the night, the rest, and the day for the future development, the work, the future problem. It's part of the student after the midday church. We take a nap there. We build on that. So that's and also part of not getting so caught into restrictions. Now, that word now of being, and in this time, we don't being in the way of life. And so we have to get away from ritual. For the most part, we have to basically integrate all our thoughts into our way of life so we can become better than we are. Look at the problem. Pray like chicken, we prosper. In other words, it is strength. The person who engage in meditation, prayer, specifically, we have to get away from rituals, get away from labels, and become present. I'll begin with the GLBTQ question. So, our key scripture in this regard is Galatians 3:28 in our Christian tradition. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor servant, male or female. We were all one in Christ Jesus. And then at the same time, that's written by St. Paul. He also, there's a scripture where he says, I do not allow women to teach in the church. And I think I have the spirit of Christ. So we have both these texts that are contradictory texts. And my mentor calls the Bible a text into veil. The Bible is on the way from scapegoating and excluding some people for the sake of others, and on the way to full revelation, redemption, complete divinity or holiness. It's in transition. And our job as interpreters, translators and interpreters of the text, is to decide for ourselves which end of that spectrum we're going to lean on and act on, as the Imam just said. And not just have rituals, but have practices that live out our interpretations. And so my church, once again, welcome to the church, is trying to lean toward the redemptive side of St. Paul's teaching, not the repressive side. And I know Jewish progressive Jews who are doing the same thing with the Hebrew Bible. And I commend to you the Rabbi Michael Lerner's magazine and community called Spiritual Progressives. His magazine is called Tikkun, which is the Hebrew word for to heal, to go along to heal the world. So it's the community of spiritual progressives that are trying to bring an interfaith way of reclaiming all our traditions from their repressive side to their liberatory, emancipatory. And then I'm sorry to say that with respect to sacred rest, I'm sorry to say I'm probably a Sabbath break.
I confess, I'm a Sabbath. I have challenges. I have to move my Sabbath since I work on Sundays. I have to move it to Monday or Friday or 2 hours on Tuesday. And so that's, you know, I'm part of the corporate culture, late capitalism, where times and all slaves for the chronological time instead of indigenous time. And we can't do it. I don't know how that's going to. I do meditation. I do both sitting meditation. I try to find meditation practices that relieve my captivity. And finally, with respect to AI, I just think that we're going to have to get better. For those of us who are doing this, we're just going to have to get smarter and smarter, not good. With diabolical, the devil is the system's domination has more technology and industry already built in through the platforms that are all out there, Google, Microsoft. We've already been behind the curve. You know, not us, not Isaac Asimov, so if I remember, realize where he tried to think ahead. What could you program into? Rather than what could you program into the body? Intelligence is artificial intelligence is the basic part of the human lives. And I try to read about catch up with them, and as I understand, it's devilishly hard. Devilishly hard to figure out until and so the question is, who are the AI technicians that in the future who will keep pace with our evolving to countermeasures? So that's human flourishing. That's the zone we're going to be in. AI is not going to go away. And so, and finally, if you want to look at an Afrofuturist, address some of this stuff. Martina Sims, the Afrofuturist Manifesto, and she talks about everything they founded on slave economy, the master slave relationship that we has found embedded and coded in that technology is the master slave relationship. And so the question is, who are the emancipators of the future who will figure out how to deconstruct that? If I could be a generation for I bless you. I commission you. I pay you to be out there.
I'm so blessed to be a part of this panel, so many great thinkers. And everything that it says normally sparking things. It stimulates trains of thought in my brain. And one of the things I want to say about AI, and I don't know why I did it in the beginning, that by and large, a lot of people who program those things don't look like us. They don't think like us. And AI has never worked. If you let AI run along, go on this merry way, this is what to target African people. So I think in terms of trusting AI with something as sacred as your spiritual tradition is sacred. And the reason why I say it that way because that is the ultimate abstract. Like the brother said, that you practice tradition, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, or whether you anybody, it's in context of community, it's in context of nature, and it's a part of your culture. My anthropology, it is a part of culture that cannot be abstracted. So you can't understand divination in the everyday condition in isolation, because it's not gonna make sense. You may be able to throw, the carousels, you may be able to do different things, you may be able to, but it's in abstraction, and you're not even gonna understand. And going back to the language again, is that because we think in these Western thoughts, that a lot of these concepts are foreign to us, and we really have to push back against the ways that we think, to think in a more African way. Because if we were thinking in a more African way, we would know that you can't separate those things. It's just like breathing, it's just like walking, it's all one and the same, and it's all a part of the whole, and you can't take away from the part.
Thank you. I have clapped up for them.
Yeah, right here, yeah. And one.
No problem, yeah. Oh, nice to meet you, yeah. I'm sorry.